Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Slikk. I'm back again with another video, and in this one I want to talk about the gear system in Injustice 2. And I need not explain to you what the gear system is, because we all know at this point what the gear system in and of itself, from a basic standpoint, is. In this video, I want to get into sort of the minutia of the gear system. We all know that, again, you get gear, it makes your character look cool, you can do more damage and have more health and these sort of things, and you get these items, you can change the colors and these sort of things. In this video, I want to get to the how and the why of the gear system, the minutia of the gear system in Injustice 2. In other words, how do you change the colors of the gear? How do you actually acquire the gear? When do you acquire it? What specifically, in what specific ways does the gear improve your health or your armor? Or in what other ways does the gear improve your character or your ability to earn XP and these sort of things? All of these details is what I'm looking to explore in this video, rather than just the broad sense of what the gear system is. Because again, if you watch any Injustice 2 interview, it's going to be explained to you ad nauseum, and in my personal opinion, for good reason, because the gear system in Injustice 2 is probably one of the coolest additions to the game, so they're right to show it off. Okay, so big thanks to IGN for 17 minutes of Injustice 2 Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, and Blue Beetle gameplay. As far as I'm concerned, this is the first video where we actually get full gameplay of the gear system in Injustice 2. Not only do we get to see how we acquire the gear, but also how to apply it, and how we can put that on our character to customize it, and also how to level up our character. So for each character in Injustice 2, for example, Harley Quinn, Blue Beetle, they level up to the 20th level. Keep in mind, this is different than your actual level XP. That probably goes up way higher to like 90. So what we see here is when we actually acquire the gear itself, and that is after each match that you play. Now, after each match, you can earn anywhere between 1 to 3 pieces of gear. What you can see here is that player 2, who was playing Blue Beetle, got a Blue Beetle item that actually increases a number of his statistics, which we'll be getting into here in just a minute, but also has a special ability where it increases the amount of XP that you gain by nearly 10%. So this again is profile XP. That is the bar that you see under the player 2. He's level 1, he's leveling up. So when you have that particular headpiece attached, you are earning more XP in addition to the benefits that you receive in the bottom bar, such as increased damage, increased health, which I'll explain here in just a minute. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind that I actually wasn't aware of is that after you play each match, the gear that you get is not necessarily consistent with the character that you played. However, there is an increased chance that you will get gear of that character that you did play. Okay, so for example, we saw the guy that played Blue Beetle. He got a Blue Beetle item. The person that played Harley Quinn got a Harley Quinn item, but also a Wonder Woman item, such that it's possible that you could not get a Harley Quinn item even after playing as Harley Quinn. So basically, think about this as opening up a loot box in Call of Duty or Overwatch, for example, where it doesn't necessarily mean because you played as Wonder Woman, all of the gear that you're going to get is Wonder Woman gear. It doesn't work that way. You could very well play as Wonder Woman and get a gear piece for Aquaman, who maybe is your least favorite DC character. You know none of his moves and you're never going to play as him. The answer is really too bad. You're still going to get that Aquaman piece of gear, and as well as many other characters that you may not have an interest in getting, but that's just the way that the gear system works. There is no supply drop unboxing, there is no loot keys or anything like, all these other games. You get the gear right after you play. Now, is there the possibility that they introduce a money system where you can buy a certain amount of gear drops? It seems at this point inevitable. We'll see how it turns out. But as for now, there is no loot unboxings or anything like that. You just get the gear as soon as the match is over. So there are 3 different classifications of gear. There is common gear, rare, and then legendary, with legendary being the most challenging to find and common being the most ubiquitous. Furthermore, very rarely is the gear that we're talking about here have no impact on your character. The very statistics that are impacted by the loot, and I will run those down very quickly for you. So on each tab of the gear that you get, you can see how it affects your statistics. First of all, the big arm there is strength. So if you have, like, let's say 8 points of strength there, then that means that your character is going to do 8 additional points of damage that will compile into one big damage number at the very end, which I'll show you here in just a minute. The second statistic is ability power. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to fit into this game, to be perfectly honest with you. I can think about in League of Legends, like, ability power is like sort of specific abilities that aren't just like using your fists. So for example, I'm thinking of like Lex Luthor summoning an orbital strike onto an area in Injustice 1, or like Shazam using that sort of abilities that isn't just punching people. So I imagine strength to be like your brute force force, and ability power to be those specific abilities, thus the name ability power. So I'm not certain though, don't take my word for it. Then you have defense, which is going to be like your armor points, and that's the third one. And then the final one, the picture of the heart, is your health points. So that actually increases your total health, such that you have to be hit more times than another character, than the same Harley Quinn as you. If you have that particular gear attached, then you have 2 extra health points, and you can take more damage than the other characters. So here we're starting to see the importance of gear, and I hope that it's not to the point where we simply attach the gear based upon what's going to give us the most, the best advantage, because I do think the point of this gear is to be cosmetically cool, to make us think that we look cooler. At least that was my interpretation, so I'm hoping that there's a lot of variety in terms of what sort of gear does what and what affects our character positively. So, in the sake of keeping this video short, I thought we would cut straight to the gameplay of actually applying our loot. Of course, this is the coolest part of when we actually get to customize our character and we get to see all of the gear that we have acquired. So, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, there is 20 levels for each character. Right now, we're watching some Harley Quinn gameplay. She's level 20, so she is fully maxed out. And at this point, this, of course, preloaded beta test or pre-alpha or whatever test of the game has all of the gear in here. So, this person is choosing between all of the gear available in the game for Harley Quinn. And what you can see here on the left hand side is the slot. So what you can essentially do is narrow down the category of the gear that you're choosing. So there's 5 different categories of gear. What right there, she was customizing the arms, and now she's doing the pants or the legs or whatever you want to call it. So she's equipping the rare items, and as you can see, we have the 4 statistics, as I mentioned, that are being positively or negatively impacted by the piece of gear that you can see indicated by the arrows up or down. Furthermore, you can see that Harley Quinn has the red and black look going. Now, what we're going to do here is get to the bottom, and you can see that the colors are changed as one. So this is a misconception that I had before making this video and doing a little bit of research. I thought that each piece of gear had a different color, or maybe you could customize the color of each additional piece of each separate piece of gear. But in actuality, the gear has preset color palettes for your entire outfit. So you can pick the pink and purple, or the gold and black, and these sort of things. So you can't specifically customize the color of the gear, but only your entire outfit. And we're going to see the same thing here for Wonder Woman. So that's pretty much the entirety of the gear system, how it works thus far. Again, there's 5 different categories. Right now we're seeing the Wonder Woman headpiece be customized, and you can see that each additional piece of gear is going to compile your strength, ability, defense, and HP points at the very top, and it all works together as one. So in other words, if you have the gun that we saw earlier in the Harley Quinn, where she had this gun that does 8 additional points of damage, it's not that when you use an ability with your gun or shoot somebody that it does 8 points of damage, but rather all of your gear pieces together compile into one big strength number. So the more gear that you have that has an increased damage ability or a strength ability is going to improve the amount of damage that you inflict on enemy characters. I hope it's not too confusing. It's pretty simple. Basically, you want to stockpile all the gear that is rare and legendary. And the legendary stuff is extremely hard to find, as I said. Like, even at the very top here, we have rare items, but the legendary stuff is just going to be, like, really challenging to find. I really like here the color customization of Wonder Woman we're going to see. Also, you can change your shield and all these sort of things. I love the red and black there, but my favorite is actually that. You see, like, the gold. I don't know. That's just really cool. Like, that's definitely the color palette I'll be going to. There's definitely a lack of them. There's only 4, but overall, I don't think that's anything to complain about because the amount of gear that we have is so plentiful. But I hope that they do get into, like, doing some wacky stuff. Maybe it's like some DLC, free DLC, I would hope, of like, green and purple, and just do some crazy stuff. Christmas time, we get like Christmas gear for them. I don't know. Also, I hope that maybe there are specific gear items that we can customize the color for that specific item, because sometimes, some people may not want to actually have a coherent color palette of their character such that it's just gold and black or just blue and black. They may want to do like purple and pink and green, and who knows. The most amount of customization that they can offer, I think the better. So maybe they should consider doing that for maybe some items, maybe the legendary items. But I do like the idea that you can change the color of your entire outfit as well, such that if you're not getting some very good items color-wise specifically, then you can just change it all together and your character is looking pretty fresh with a consistent color palette. So anyway, guys, that is the gear system gameplay in Injustice 2. I hope you understand better the gear system in Injustice 2, and if you did, feel free to give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and let me know what I could have done better in this video to explain what we know this far about gear and loot in Injustice 2. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Subscribe for all Injustice 2 videos. My name is Slikk. We'll see you in the next one.
Stay connected to Slikk on Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. Also, subscribe to his YouTube channel for all the latest reviews, discussions, breakdowns, and reactions.